Hey, good evening, everybody. Turn the microphone on and it'll work better. How are you? The few of you that have shown up says I got 6, 7 people. Well, I suppose that's okay. That's okay. Hey, Bob Casey's here. How you doing? Jody, Drone Shots. I see Jim, Above and Beyond Drones, and that's all I see in the chat, but it says there's 7 people, so we got a couple lurkers out there, which is okay. People can lurk. So how's everybody doing? How you fighting all this Wuhan flu virus nonsense? Everybody's stuck at home. I expected to have a fairly large crowd tonight. We'll see what happens. Seems like most people around the world have nothing to do anyway, so these live streams seem like they might be a good way to pass a little time. Mike, Night Train, how you doing? Here till dinner's ready. Yeah, what are we having? Vidar, welcome, welcome. Glad you could show up. As usual, I did send out invitations to be in the panel so we could have a discussion. I really don't have didn't plan a whole lot. Haven't done a whole lot. Haven't done much flying. I have. I don't know. Seems like life has just been on hold, and I mean I could have gone out and flown. I just really didn't feel like it. I don't know if everybody out there is as disappointed is a good word to use. You know, I want to use the word angry, but that's not a good word. Disgusted is another word that comes to mind, but disappointed in the nonsense, and I don't want to get too political here, but just the nonsense coming out of the people that we're paying enormous salaries in Washington, D.C. to do a job for us. And I don't know. It's, am I the only one in the world that their antics are so transparent to? Is it not obvious to everybody, any thinking human being, what the media is doing, what the people in Congress are doing? Do you have to be a rocket scientist to understand the dynamics of what's going on? I don't know. All I know is that I find it deeply disturbing at all of them exercising their own agendas in quest for power and votes and everything in a time like this when people really are having problems because of this stuff. Anyway, Bob Casey, I got something in the mail today. I was shocked. Rick Halber sent me a knife with my name engraved. Wow. Hey, Bob, you need to come in here and show it to us. I'm sure you got a link in the mail from me, so come on in here and show us the knife that you got. Rick, how you doing, buddy? How you feeling? Good to see you here. You missed Sunday night when I got the little drone you sent me ready to fly. There it is, and I did take it out, even though it was windy as hell, and I flew it with the goggles on out beside my house here, and it was all I could do to keep it, to get it back. It kept getting blown away, so I landed it and figured, well, I'll wait till a calmer day. Oh, good, Rick. I'm glad you watched the replay. And but at any rate, thank you very much again. This is a great little drone, and it flies good. I think I'm going to enjoy it. So, and we'll see. We'll see how the weather is the next couple of days. Now, we're not locked down here where I am. I'm in Brevard County, Florida, Melbourne, over by the East Coast, and Orlando, the city of Orlando, Orange County. They have a stay-at-home order that started an hour ago, and that's Orlando and the south part of Orlando. So evidently they've got more of a problem over there than we have here in Brevard County, and we don't really have a stay-at-home order. And I suppose if it's nice tomorrow morning, maybe I'll get out of the house. I haven't really gone anywhere. Ray Kelly, how you doing? I went to Jupiter Beach again today, but I could not fly. Too windy. Yeah, it's been windy over near the coast. You know, the wind turns around, comes easterly, and we get a lot of wind. We get a lot of wind over here that they don't get in Orlando. So it's part of living near the water, I suppose. 20 Night Train Mike says 2,300 cases, 61 deaths so far for Michigan. Well, yeah. You know, we're gonna go through it, obviously, and I've certainly got my own ideas, and some of them may not be my own. They may be somebody else's ideas that I heard that kind of made sense to me, so I agree with them. But hard to say where the reality of all this lies. Where is the reality? Somewhere between it's Armageddon and we're all going to die, and it's no big deal, nothing to worry about. Somewhere in that range of extremes is where the reality of this thing lies. Let me take a second here and introduce my first guest and co-host, one of my regulars here. Say hi to Carlos.
Good evening,
back
sir.
From the sky.
How are you?
Hey, how are you? I'm good. How you doing?
I can't complain. So far, so good.
Good. Nobody wants to hear you complain anyway, or me either.
Yeah, no, nobody listens.
For that matter. No,
You're
for
right.
that matter. Anyway, I did hear one thing.
You hear me?
What's that?
You hear me? No problem.
You're not as loud as you were, but what do you do? What'd you do? Got a new microphone? No, your mic's not good.
All right. I'll mess with that later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now it sounds okay. Yeah, I'm not used to seeing you wearing headphones, but no, you sound okay. You sound
All
okay
right.
like that. Tater is not in a good spot right now, Rick Halver says. And
Ray Kelly.
Bob, I agree. Let me just throw my 2 cents in here. And you know, I always have everything I say comes with one of those disclaimers. You know, you know what I'm talking about. Where is it? Let me do it.
Offer no purchase necessary. Offer valid at participating locations. Void where prohibited. No animals were harmed during the production of this soundboard. Subject to change without notice. Side effects include dry mouth, occasional pig snort or two, sore stomach, teary eyes, achy jaws, and whatever tingles well. Laughing heart.
Okay, so the lawyers make me play that before I express an opinion. And I think that the severity of this has been overplayed. I think that when all the numbers are in, I think that, and they really get a handle on how many people actually have been infected by this bug, not just the ones that have run to a hospital and maybe died, but the average Joe walking around, one of the many that probably has this and doesn't even know it, or experiences those very mild symptoms of maybe a cold coming on or a flu coming on, but nothing severe. Especially the younger people. I think people under 50, under 40 especially, I think a lot of them have it. And I think when you factor that number of those people that have this against the death count, I think the number goes down below 1% and maybe way below 1%. The problem is we're in the middle of the flu season at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
This year, 50,000 people are going to die from the flu, just the flu. And then I had an interesting little mental exercise that I did the other day, and let's see if I can throw this up on the screen here. So, and let me do this. I had a little calculator here. So what we got 350 million people in this country. Okay.
That we know of.
That we know. The average life expectancy is 78 years.
Would you
So
say
let's
78?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Let's divide it by 7. Let's divide it by 80 to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. So let's divide that by 80. And that means in this country, 4,375,000 people die from all causes. Does that make sense to you?
What percentage was that?
Assuming that the average person lives to 80 years old. Oh, I need to divide that by, yeah, that's it. If there's 350 million people in this country, and the average person lives to be 80, that means that in the next 80 years, 4,375,000 people will die every year. If you add that, if you multiply that times 80, that would be the total population. You follow my numbers?
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So 4,375,000 people are going to die. Most of them probably just from old age. Their time's come. Life is over. I'm sure the birth rate in this country is probably about the same. 4 to 5 million babies a year are born. Or else the population would not be growing, it would be declining. So, considering that 4+ million people in this country are going to die every year, most of the people you figure that are going to die are going to be old and sick. Is it a coincidence, or can we really attribute all of the deaths from the COVID virus as the real cause of death of so many of these old and sick people? Or was it their time? Would they have succumbed to pneumonia? Would they have succumbed to the flu? would they have succumbed to any of these other diseases that they had that had them in nursing homes and like that? And if not for the, if it would be an interesting thing to try to understand that if not for this COVID virus, if it had never happened, how many of the people that have died from it would have died anyway? And until you know that number, you can't figure what the accurate mortality rate for this disease is. And the fact that this disease is affecting primarily the elderly and the sick, I think that's something that you have to factor in. That's just my thoughts, my opinion. That's just the way one of the things that I've looked at. Does that make any sense? Does that?
Yeah, but I don't think it makes people feel better in so much as getting it or the fear of getting it.
Well,
me personally, I'm just going about life within reason. I mean, I go to work, I go shopping, and I do what I have to do, but I keep my distance for now. It's just you never know. I guess that never know thing is just.
Yeah, but the thing that I'm saying, and the point I'm trying to make is that when you look at it from an angle like that, then anything past what we've done already to slow it down a little bit, probably, in other words, if we allow this thing to totally destroy our country and our economy to the point where we're in a breadline depression, shame on us. You know, it is an overreaction, and the cause of the overreaction, and here comes the political stuff, and if you don't agree with me, you can always click the X on top of this browser. You don't have to listen, because that's what I do when a newscaster comes on TV and starts spouting nonsense. I say, get the F off my TV, and I shut it off, because I don't have a lot of power in this world, but that is the power that I have, the power to vote with my feet. But I think that so much of, there's two things that are driving the ridiculous criminal media in this country right now. One is the fact that their business, most of the mainstream media's business is so bad, and their ratings are so low, and they've lost so much credibility because of the past 3 years of pushing fake news on everybody, that they see this, the sensationalism of this, as a way to bring their Trump-hating viewers back. And there's no shortage of Trump haters in this country, unfortunately. And the stuff that I hear, and the way they're spinning this thing all the time, and the gotcha crap that they're always doing with him, is disturbing. It's disturbing, and I believe it's not only is it not helping, I believe it's causing.
It's making things worse.
A tremendous. Ray Kelly says media is spreading fear. They are, and they're getting clicks and they're getting views, because
Where's my chat not coming up?
the people with that ideology are going to buy into it. Hey, Tommaso Sullivan is here. How you doing, Gary? How are you? The like button has been sanitized for your protection, he says. Thank you. Thank you very much, Gary. And how's everything up in Canada? You guys locked down yet? Stingray Aerial Solutions, how are you? Good to see you. Who else did I miss? Did I miss anybody? Oh, Paul. Phantom Hodges drone is here. How you doing, buddy? Ray Kelly sent me some pictures. He said, show them on the show here.
To see New York the way it is and empty, it's like the seventh wonder of the world. Unbelievable.
Is it really really that empty, huh?
It's like I've never seen before. It's incredible.
Well, they got a problem up there in New York, and
13,000, and the big areas, 6-7 miles from me. So everybody's nobody goes out, or nobody's to go in that area. Actually, I don't know. I mean, you know what? You can only do so much.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You can only do so much. I am getting a little bored here. Got to tell you.
Oh yeah, no, we went to the backyard, straightened out my mom's backyard, made a little fire, and just kind of like, I'm getting tired of watching TV.
Yeah, I know. I know what
Oh,
you
you
mean.
know
I see
news,
that.
the news part.
Yeah, I see. Let me turn these names off here for a second, so that I don't block the picture there. There you go. This is Ray Kelly sent me four pictures of his flying. I think this is the Mavic Mini, isn't it, Ray? I think it is.
That's the seashore, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the ocean and the beach, and there you go. Took a few pictures. Very pretty. He said he went out to fly today, and it was a little windy, but that's down where Ray lives, down near Jupiter. It's beautiful down there. I need to get down there as soon as when this nonsense is over, and we can finally not worry about some cop pulling us over and saying, "Where are
Oh, wait,
you
you
going?
can't-
Are
you
you
can't go to the
supposed to be out?" Yeah, we can, but I don't know about the next county south of here. You know, they may have a stay-at-home.
Wow,
They may have a stay-at-home order in place.
I see.
It's crazy, you know.
I haven't had any issues driving at this point.
No, the traffic has been very light. I haven't been to a store in over a week now. I mean, there's some things I should run out to get, but
Right.
I went out when this thing first started and bought a lot of stuff, and I'm afraid to touch the mail or a package that comes now. you
Really?
know? You know, precautions. You know,
Nah,
you
I
never
mean-
did. You listen to this crap, and there's another factor that called herd immunity. Have you heard that?
hmm
Herd
That's
immunity.
what they were
Yeah.
trying in the UK, but I don't think it worked.
Well, herd immunity does work. It's how any communicable disease finally calms down and goes away. When
Makes
enough
sense.
of the people or animals develop an immunity for this thing, then the thing has nowhere it can live. If it attaches itself to something with immunity, it goes away. It doesn't spread anymore. So you know, everybody's got 20/20 hindsight. It's possible that the best thing to have done would have been nothing. You know, considering that the real mortality rate of this is probably pretty low.
Or at least an age
Most of
restriction.
the young people would have sloughed it off or gotten a little sick and developed an immunity for it. And then a herd immunity would have developed a lot faster than it would now. And perhaps the thing would die out. But you know what they say about if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bust his ass when he jumped. You know what I mean? If
You're also
yeah.
talking about somebody who's already had it. That now that once you had it, you can't get it. So maybe they're taking their blood or their blood samples and seeing if they can do something or some kind of transfusions with people.
Well,
who already
they're
had this.
talking about that. I still think that even though the media keeps trying to portray Trump as trying to get people's false hopes up and giving bad medical advice, they're really killing him for that. Calling him as he's not a doctor. Don't listen to the battle cries on the mainstream media are enormous in that respect, because he said nothing more than according to some reports from France and other countries, there's an existing drug that's already approved by the FDA, hydroxychloroquine and Z-Pak, that are showing amazing results in this.
Really?
And they jumped on him because this is the
Easter Sunday.
no
Oh,
some moron somewhere in the Midwest killed himself by drinking fish tank cleaner, because one of the ingredients in this fish tank cleaner sounded like hydroxychloroquine. So he decided, even though he wasn't sick and didn't have any he hadn't tested, he decided he was going to get immune to this disease by drinking fish tank cleaner. God knows what else is in fish tank, but it killed him. And now his wife is on every TV show, every mainstream liberal network, blaming Donald Trump for killing her husband.
Really, not just his
Really?
moronic
Yeah,
behavior.
yeah, blaming Donald Trump for killing her husband because he told everybody that this drug was going to stop this disease.
Oh my goodness.
So, and don't you think that every one of these moron, liberal, mainstream media news people isn't milking this for everything it's worth? And that's the kind of absurdity that just gets to the point where I can't watch the news anymore.
I'm tired of it. I go on Drone Network TV or YouTube or Netflix. I'm done with news. 20 minutes, a little while at night.
And even Netflix and the shows they're putting on there are so way out, and everything's got to be in our face. Every sexual choice, I don't even know how to without sounding like I'm a homophobic, but every possible way, every possible type of non-heterosexual activity has got to be in our face in every show, regardless of what the show is about. They have to figure out.
Breaking Bad again.
Breaking Bad is
I started doing it again.
Hey, Roland's here. Hey, Roland, how you doing?
Yeah.
Roland, tune us in from where are you from, Roland?
The Netherlands.
Netherlands somewhere. Yeah. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. You haven't been around here in a while.
11:30 over there almost.
Yeah, time. Well, Roland, Roland stays up all night anyway. He never goes to sleep. When Spike used to was doing his thing, and Roland would come into the StreamYard, and it'd be 5 o'clock in the morning. He'd still be at it. Timeless Truths, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. I have watched. I mean, this may sound stupid to you, but I have watched the entire Breaking Bad series 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Don't feel bad.
I'm only working on my second. I don't feel so bad.
3. I've been to over the course of the years. A year or two might go by, but
right.
All of a sudden I just start remembering some really neat stuff about that show, and I start once you start watching it again,
you want to keep going.
Well, because you don't remember everything.
Exactly. I'm with you.
And there's another
parts
show
I see, and I'm like, oh, I don't remember that. Oh.
Yeah, and there's another show that I do the same, that I've done the same thing, and that's The Sopranos.
I've never watched that show.
Whoa! I can't get my son to watch Breaking Bad. I keep telling him, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. Yeah, I'm busy. I'll get to, and he watches crap like The Walking Dead and stuff like that.
People like that. I don't know why.
And but The Sopranos, I will watch that every year. I'll start it all over again.
And that's basically mafioso stuff, right?
Yeah, it was great. And movies like Goodfellas, that comes around every couple of years, and I always watch that again, because these are just epic epic
Do you remember A Bronx Tale? A Bronx Tale?
Vaguely, yeah, I think so, but I couldn't tell you the plot of it. Yeah, there's been a lot of great movies, but it's amazing how when I look at the new crap that's on,
it's just that crap.
And I say, what do I want to watch?
Mm-hmm.
I would rather rewatch something of quality. And
do you have what is it, like Antenna TV or those where you can watch the Columbos, the Sanford and Sons,
yeah,
Archie Bunkers and all that?
Yeah, we've got.
I do that too.
Yeah, I watch that sometimes.
Look, did you see that? I'm protecting you from my cough.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Such a creature of habit.
Vidar said Boardwalk Empire. That was another one. Oh, that was an amazing. That was an amazing. Amazing show. Yeah, Jim agrees with me. Even I'm trying to avoid using the language like that, but it is every new show. Even if it's a decent show, they have to have that to satisfy the social
They have to
justice.
have a mixed race couple, a
Mixed
gay
race,
couple, a straight couple, and then
gay men, gay women. They have to have that to satisfy all the social justice warriors that we now have in this country. And Ray Kelly says that was in Atlantic City, and one of the reasons that that show in particular interested me was that my mother's side of my family was from Atlantic City. See, I was born and raised in Philadelphia. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, but my mother was born in Atlantic City, and her father, my grandfather, around the time depicted in that Boardwalk Empire, owned 3 hotels in Atlantic City on the boardwalk, and was a participant in that gang or that, I wouldn't say the criminal gang, but in that elite, let's say, that were running Atlantic City at the time. That was depicted by the Boardwalk Empire thing. So I got a chance to look at what my grandfather's life was like. But then the Great Depression came along, and they lost everything. And at that point, they moved to Philadelphia because they lost all the properties and everything they had in Atlantic City. So, but when
he wasn't running away for his life.
He might have been. Drone Shot says, "Just say it, the mob." He may very well have been involved in that. I wouldn't put it past him.
And you know what? Sometimes it's not you don't have a choice.
No, but I don't even care. Sometimes I think there's more. I think there's more honor among gangsters sometimes, and I think there are among these holy rolling politicians that we have.
They just use that holy rolling part, but they're not rolling anything. But I understand.
Peter Carroll, how you doing? Peter and Pondenmore, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, the guys are coming in. Ray says he stopped in Atlantic City with my boats while cruising to Florida. Yeah, Atlantic City. I used to when I had my airplanes and I was living. When I lived up in Virginia, when I was a flight instructor, one of the things I like to do is I like to fly from Northern Virginia over to Atlantic City, landed at Bader Field, rent a car, go to the hotels and things. That's when Atlantic City was making its big comeback. It had been a real slum for a lot of years. From the time when I was a kid, and we used to go to Atlantic City every couple of weekends. I remember the home movies of me as a kid. 2 and 3 years old, my father had a little 8mm movie camera, and I had a bucket and a shovel, and I used to dig I would dig a hole in the sand, nice little hole. I'd run to the ocean, I'd get a bucket full of water, and I'd run back to fill up the hole. And I'd pour the water in the hole, and of course it would disappear, and I would get all upset, and I'd run back to the ocean and try it again. And I did that for hours, just trying to fill that hole up in the sand. And then Atlantic City, after I got a little older and grew up, and Atlantic City had just gone to hell. And about the time it was coming back is when I used to fly in there, and it's city has really had its ups and downs, Carlos, hasn't it?
I was there once. I thought I was in the middle of Harlem. It was nasty. Pretty bad place.
Oh, yeah.
When I was like a teenager. And you know what I like about Atlantic City? The one time I was there, that they took away. I don't really go gambling or to casinos. They don't have money come out of the slot machines anymore. They give you tickets with noise.
Really?
Do you remember the good old days when money
Oh
used to
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
They
that
don't
was.
do that anymore. They just give you a sound effects and a and a ticket to redeem later. It's
Hey, Ron
disappointing.
Lockwood's here. Hi, Ron. How you doing? Yeah, there was one main reason to go to Atlantic City, as far as I was concerned.
Free drinks.
Now, the White House sub shop.
Um,
It's one street off the boardwalk, and it's called the White House Sub Shop. This sub shop is like world famous.
okay.
Frank Sinatra, when he was in Vegas, would send his private jet to Atlantic City to get subs, Italian subs
Wow.
from the White House sub shop, and fly them back to Vegas. Yeah, it's a true story.
Nice budget.
And,
Talk about takeout.
Jim says boardwalk saltwater taffy. Man, I had so much of that stuff when I was a kid. I could still taste it. I used to love those little paper things. You'd pull them and it'd unroll, and yeah. The boardwalk back in the old days was really something. But then the gambling came in and brought the city back from disaster. So I guess you can't say that it's a bad thing. Ray, you know Boardwalk White House subs? Yeah, I'd love to be able to get that stuff down
Been
there,
there
just like the Philly
twice.
cheesesteaks. What's that?
I've been to Atlantic City twice, and the second time, short story, funny story. I'm in front. I'm waiting to get on the bus because I hate driving that far. But anyway, I'm looking at this guy right in front of me, and he's pickpocketing the person right next to him. So I took my newspaper and I whacked his hand out of the guy's pocket, and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, what happened?" I said, "You know what's happening."
You're lucky he didn't. You're lucky he didn't shoot you.
No, but the guy had nerve. Him and his girlfriend are there, so I get on the bus and he stays there. So I open the bus window. Ladies and gentlemen, I just caught this guy pickpocketing. Watch your pockets.
You got a lot of guts. You got a lot of guts doing that. Next thing you know, you have a gang chasing you down the street.
I don't know. I reacted. I couldn't believe he had his hands in the guy's pocket. I don't know. But anyway,
Yeah, that was.
that's Atlantic City.
Ron mentioned Pat's and Gino's Steaks in Philly, and you guys are making me hungry now, because there is a joint. There is a joint here near where I live. It's in Satellite Beach, which is not far from here, 15 minutes. Called the Little Philly Sub Shop, and it's owned by a bunch of Philadelphia people that moved down here, so they know how to make a real legitimate cheesesteak, and they bring in all the ingredients from Philadelphia, because
Wow.
the steaks are frozen anyway. You know, they come in boxes. They're those thin,
Yeah. Patties.
shaved. Yeah, the steak, they're only like 1/8 of an inch thick, and they have the wax paper between them. Well, those are frozen, and the biggest thing about a real New York, New Jersey, Philly sandwich of any kind is the bread. There's something about the bread.
It's the water.
That's what they say.
It's the
but
water.
They,
The same
they
thing with
tried,
bagels.
right? But they tried that down here. They had a joint actually trucked the water down. It wasn't
Not the
what
same.
it was. No, so what they're doing now is they're making the dough, like the dough blanks. They're not baking them, they're freezing them,
Yeah.
and they send them down here, and then you bake them.
Okay.
And that's what this Little Philly sub shop does. They use the Philadelphia bread and the steaks from Philly and onions and cheese. That's a Philly cheesesteak. Now,
Philly cheesesteak, yeah.
somehow, from after I left Philadelphia, they got in the habit, a lot of these steak shops, of using Cheese Whiz out of a can as the cheese. But a real Philly cheesesteak that I grew up with has provolone. So and then people down here, they just screw them all up. They want peppers in them. They want tomatoes. No, no, you don't do that. It's sacrilegious to a Philadelphia
Right.
cheesesteak. Bread, steak, provolone cheese. Period. End of story. Onions.
And
Onions.
flattened up.
And they make it on the grill, and they put the cheese in, and they keep chopping it up and mixing it up and chopping it again and mixing it and chopping it, and pretty soon it doesn't have the consistency of a steak. It becomes creamy. God, I'd weigh 500. I'd weigh 500 pounds if I ate those things all the time. So I sparingly go over there and get one of these things. Well, there he is.
In his fancy living room.
Yep.
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah, Art's
Mitch,
moving up.
Carlos, good to see you guys.
How you
Good
doing,
evening.
buddy?
Is Ray
You're
Kelly
moving-
from New York?
Ray, I gotta be, yeah.
Right? Where is he from? Where in New York? I wonder.
I don't know. Ask him. Ray, where are you from in New York?
Yeah. Because he says we
Provolone
call
is this thing.
subs heroes in New York. That's a fact.
Gary likes
hero
pineapple on a
sandwich.
pizza. Yeah, hero. And you know what a lot of people don't realize, and to me it's just obvious,
Yeah.
that hero is not spelled Hero.
No.
Gyro
Right.
is how you spell a hero sandwich.
It's
Oh, no,
Greek.
no, no. You're talking about a gyro. That's
No,
Greek.
it's pronounced hero. That's how they pronounce
Oh,
it
really?
in
It's a Greek sandwich.
it's a Greek sandwich, and in Greek, gyro is pronounced hero. So
Yeah.
when people started calling them hero sandwiches, all of a sudden they started spelling it Hero. But what they
Yeah.
really mean is a Gyro. That's what a hero is.
right.
Art knows that. See,
Yep. Yeah, I lived in
That's
Michigan.
new to
A lot of
me.
things there.
you see
I
that?
thought gyro was particular to a Greek sandwich or a Greek.
Well,
you know.
that's where the hero sandwich came from in the first place. And in Philly, we called them subs. In Philly, we called them subs,
Subs, yeah.
submarine sandwiches. And
Lot of
for the
places.
longest time, I thought a hero and a gyro were two different things, but I'm pretty sure that they're the same.
Well, they
thing.
are. The
Yeah.
bread is different. It would be technically different, right? Isn't a hero on
Well-
Italian bread what we call Italian bread?
Well, yeah, but that's a hero. Anyway, that's where
Yeah.
the hero came from. The Hero was the way the Greeks pronounced gyro. You want a trivia fix? Come here, guys. This is it. What's going on
Well-
here? So,
Mitch, you missed my early show today.
you know what? I didn't get a notification.
Wow. I did.
I didn't. You didn't
did.
send it. You didn't mail. You didn't send
Oh,
mail out.
sorry. Well, I'm going
I
to do
didn't get
another one
any-
tomorrow.
I didn't get it, and when I finally
yeah.
noticed that it was there, you were just wrapping it up.
Right.
So was it any? I see you had a lot. You had almost 100 views on it.
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
a good show? Was
yeah,
anybody
it was.
funny?
It was all comedians.
Yeah. Well, so was this show.
Mhm.
Some are funnier than.
Some are funny and some are funny looking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I.
Mr. Coke bottle glasses.
That's me.
That's
I'm
why
blind.
he's not allowed outdoors, because he'll set things on fire.
So are you on lockdown now, Art? Are you on
Yes,
lockdown?
we are.
Oh, so you
Mhm.
can't go to work or anything, huh?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Wow. So you
Well,
can get.
technically I'm off the rest of this week anyway, because the company, because Denver had made us cut 50%, so 50% on and 50% off. But Fridays are no pay. I'm like, but I got to use my vacation time for the days that I'm off. Now, look, I don't know if I'm going to eat more vacation time for this whole thing.
Well, you know, with this package that they passed,
Yeah.
there's a lot of all different kinds of compensation for people that
Yeah.
have been told not to come into work. So there may be something.
Yeah.
Excuse me. There may be something there for you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I
think
mean, if
so.
they're giving away money, I'll take it. I'm not
Yeah.
proud.
Yeah, but you make over 75,000, don't you? Oh no, you're on Social Security.
I'm retired. I make a
You're
few bucks.
retired.
I make a few bucks working, but I don't make 75 grand a year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my kids. I talked to my son, and he. I said to him, "Well, you're going to get a check," and he started laughing because he and his wife make a lot of money. But they're now. I'm trying to turn this. Is my microphone too loud, or is it?
No,
sound
you
okay?
sound great.
I'm fine.
Okay, I'm looking at the meter and it's bouncing up into. I'm using the lav mic tonight,
Okay.
and I listened to the last replay of my show when I used the lav mic last Sunday's workshop, and
Right.
it sounded almost as good as my little studio mic
Yeah, I don't
here.
hear a
This thing
difference
here,
at all. Yeah.
and in fact, if I go to this one, okay, now I'm on the studio mic.
I
Can
don't
you tell? Can you
tell
tell a
difference
big
at all.
difference? All right, let me go
Nope.
back to the lav.
Not at all.
If you hear any hissing, that's because I got a little fan blowing on me. But the reason that this is nice is if I move around in here
Yeah,
from
that's
one side
right.
to the other.
Mhm.
It's not a wireless mic. I am
Yeah.
tethered,
Right.
but it's a longer wire on the mic than my headphones, so I'm not going anywhere anyway.
There you go.
Now I did get that new wireless mic set up that I showed you a couple weeks ago from Comica
cool.
to review for them,
Oh, wonderful.
and.
Oh, the one on the case.
Yeah, but they asked me, they asked, I said, they said, well, you get it, do the review, we'll pay you back. I said, you pay me first. I said, I'm not putting out money for it. So they said, well, how about if we pay you half now and we'll pay you the other half when you put the review up? So they said, okay. So I bought the mic from Amazon and it was $160. They sent me 80.
Right.
I get an email from them last week
Oh,
Yeah.
that said, don't do the review right away because evidently Amazon is cracking down on these companies that are, for all intents and purposes, buying reviews,
Oh,
which is what they're doing.
yeah.
Now, they might think they're buying a review, but if it's a piece of crap, I'm going to say it's a piece of crap, But a lot of people won't. And Amazon doesn't like that, and I don't like it because if you want to buy something, you start reading a lot of these reviews. They're not legitimate reviews. They're bought and paid for by the fact that the reviewer got the product, which is not an uncommon thing here on YouTube and in any reviewing situation. Certainly the drone community, when they send all these guys new drones to review and give them an affiliate link so they can get paid when somebody buys it, it becomes less of a review and more of an infomercial.
it's a commercial. Yep.
Yeah. And so you have to take all that with a grain of sand. And I bought a few things based on some of these so-called big-time reviewers and was disappointed because it wasn't what they would lead you to believe, or there were problems that somehow got skipped over. So she sent me this email and says, well, wait a month. So I wrote her back and I said, nah, I tell you what, I said, I'm out the money and now you want me to wait a month. I'm just going to send the microphone back, get my money back. That's one thing about Amazon, see? So she emails me right back and says, we're sending you the other half of the money. Please do the review. I said, okay.
Good job.
So, I mean, I don't mind. I will get the thing for free, and I know it's not junk because I've had a Comica or Comica, however you pronounce it, their more expensive wireless system. I've had that for a couple of years, and I love it. It works great. So I'm sure this one is probably it's in a plastic case instead of a metal case. It uses AA batteries instead of having a rechargeable battery. But I'm sure that as far as the actual circuitry goes and the guts go, it's probably the same. It's the same microphone that comes with it, and so I'll do the review in about a month. Rick says he did that for free. Well, yeah, Rick, a lot of A lot of companies do that. That's part of how this stuff gets to market
Yep.
through what they call influencers. I like that term,
Mhm.
influencer. I don't think that I'm big enough to be an influencer. Maybe I can influence you, Art, but that's probably as far as it goes. So where's everybody tonight? We only got 3 people. You know what I notice, and I don't know, do I scare people away? Am I intimidating to any of you guys?
Hey,
I
No,
know.
you're a pain in the ass, but you're not into it.
Well,
I'm,
you know,
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you.
I'm proud. Look, it took me 40 years of extreme effort to become the pain in the ass that I am.
Oh, I pride
So,
myself
and
on
thank
being a
you.
prick.
It's about time, and I'm happy when anybody actually notices it and points that out, because it was
I
a
have
lot
a
of work.
friend, and we refer to each other as, and I'm not trying to be rude on your chat, as prick. And we,
No, it's all right.
he's a younger guy, and I've been training him to be a prick, and he's mastered it.
You know, it's funny that this guy shows up just when you're using terminology like that.
Hey guys.
Hi, Mike. He wasn't talking about you, Mike.
No, Mike's actually one of the nice guys out there,
We're all nice guys.
as far as I know at this point. But you know,
Yeah, I'm a nice guy, you know.
Yeah. I get no respect at all.
Well, Mike
doing?
was at my show today. I hope he enjoyed it.
Yeah, it looks like you were catching up with a bunch of your old pals there.
Yeah. hmm
That's cool. And I like your
Should
new
I-
digs there, Art.
Yeah, it's something,
Oh.
I'm telling you,
Some
man.
pad you got there.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
funny because during the show, the comedians were like, "Wow, you're definitely making little money." And I go, it's a green screen, and you're,
And then you
"What?
turn,
Really?"
and then Bob Casey says, I scared the crap out of him. You know, my ex-wife used to say that to me. She says, you don't know this, Mitch, but you're a very intimidating person. And I said, what? I'm not intimidating. Just, you know, just when somebody gives me a lot of shit, I am. But other than that,
Hey, Rick
I remember
Cavler.
that.
Hey, Bob Casey.
when I first met my wife, she goes, "You're the kind of guy I would see," and then cross the street. It was so,
Psycho, FPV's
Psycho
here. How you
drone.
doing? I missed you. Welcome, welcome. Says, be careful. King Kong is behind me. No, that's
Yeah, yeah.
Spank. That's Spank the monkey. Spank the monkey. And he's my sidekick. Dave
yeah,
himself
I don't
doesn't
think
say
you
much.
intimidate people at all. People like you, from what I understand.
Ah.
That's the rumor.
And I'm not trying hard enough. I'm doing something wrong here. You know, it's like Lloyd. It's like Lloyd.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
grumpy blogger.
The
Yeah,
persona, yeah, we want that
Yeah.
persona. You know, even you've seen my YouTube header graphic.
yeah. Mhm.
It says things like I forgot what it says. Hold on a second. Let me look at it. It says
Senior moment.
no, I mean I know what it says, but I forget the exact wording. It says adventures. Here,
Yeah.
it says
Oh, okay.
adventures.
Yeah, we can really see that well. Oh, there we
Says
go.
adventures and tips and tricks, but mostly just annoying. See, I mean,
Mhm.
I said that right off the bat. I didn't make any bones about that.
Right. There you go.
Yeah,
Hey,
So you're
Art,
a man of your word.
it's
when
true,
you say
man.
you're on
You know,
lockdown, what does that mean in Colorado?
Well, that means I can't go to work. I could go to the store, and that's about it. They're telling everybody to stay indoors.
You
No.
can't go to an open park?
I guess I could, but don't be around in big crowds. Have
Right.
6
Yeah.
distance, you know.
Well,
So
it's,
you wouldn't be breaking the law if you were caught driving to the park.
Oh, like I did yesterday.
I don't know. I mean, I drive all the time. Nobody's telling me not to drive.
right. hmm
That's what I'm saying. It's not like they're, show me your
Well-
paper. Where are you going? Stuff like
I don't
that.
think you have. I don't think you have a stay-at-home order in place. There's
I
a
guess,
difference.
Yeah.
They
I'm wondering,
recommend that you don't,
how
but
do they describe what is a stay-at-home one?
Yeah.
Right. I'm in New York State too, but you're in the city, Carlos. But we have not got hit as bad as you guys, but we're starting to get numbers up here now.
Really?
And so just today, a bunch of knuckleheads. I don't know if they arrested them or not, but they were gathered tailgating at a golf course, all clustered together like nothing was going on, and something came up in the paper, and it's like human nature is starting to kick in, and people are getting lackadaisical already.
Yeah.
Because nobody looks sick. There's no zombies walking around, and especially up here, where we don't see the subway cars with masks and stuff, and it's I don't know. This is going to be a little longer than we thought, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to put up with it, to tell you the truth. I think that
Put up with what, though?
staying home.
Not-
I think
not-
another couple weeks is going to make. Look, compared to 2 weeks ago, we know one hell of a lot more about this now than we did back then. In another 2 weeks, I think we'll have a handle on it. People are going to get sick. Old
That's
sick
right.
people are going to die, and I don't know if you missed the beginning of this, Mike, but I talked about death in general and the death rate in this country, and how many so many of those people that they claim died from this virus would have died from a pneumonia or any other flu or cold. They were just old and sick and ready to go, because for over 4 million people a year just die in this country. 1/78 of the population. If the average age is 78, then 1/78 of the population dies every year of something. So,
Right.
and you factor all that stuff in there, I think that this is the actual mortality rate that you can directly attribute to this and nothing else is not nearly as high.
Right.
And the young people, so many of them get it, don't even know they have it. But they are, So I think that what you're going to see in a week or two is you're going to see areas that are like New York City, the areas that are really hit hard will be clamped down. But I think that throughout the rest of the country, things are going to start loosening up.
They're not actually clamping.
Remember, I'm the guy that predicted the stock market was going to break 30,000 in June. Remember that. Don't forget that prediction, because we're already up, 3,000 plus points in the past couple days? This is not. This happened. I truly believe that this was one of the monumental overreactions of the human race, fostered by our media.
Well, let me ask you this.
If you don't believe it's true, why aren't you going out?
Well, I didn't say I didn't believe it's true.
Oh,
I didn't say that.
I mean,
that,
no. I'm sorry. Like, it's not as serious as.
I think it's not going to kill as many people, but again, the flu is going to kill 50,000 people.
No,
this
I'm
year.
with you. I'm with you. I'm just. This is
The
thing.
coronavirus
That guy
killed
that-
80.
Go
The
ahead.
coronavirus has killed 80-something thousand people in China. That's it. Okay, and it's tapering off.
Right. And considering that
The
population,
flu,
so
and considering their population and the
It's nothing.
size, and a city of 15 million like Wuhan, you'd think if it was really that virulent, that they would have had 1 million deaths.
right.
But they had 80+ thousand deaths in
Right.
Wuhan. We have 50,000 people a year in this country die from the plain old flu. And knowing that the flu has a mortality rate like that, half the people in this country still don't feel it's worth their time to get a flu shot.
That would be me.
right. You
Well, the
say,
flu
hell,
shot
if I get it, I'll
doesn't
get it.
work
I
that
probably
well.
won't die. So
Yep.
that's why I think this was, while it is probably more deadly or more infectious than the flu, I would be willing to bet that when all the dust settles and all the test results are in, and they find out how many healthy people actually had this but had very little or no symptoms.
Yeah, they
Or
didn't
you
say
then-
have to get it.
Yeah, and then divide the death rate into that. I think
Right.
you're going to find that the mortality rate of this
very
thing
well.
is down around 0.5% or less.
I
Right.
even think less. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well-
and again, again, I mean, if I have to do it again, I will.
Limited time offer. No purchase necessary. Offer valid at participating locations. Void where prohibited. No animals were harmed during the production of this soundboard. Subject to change without notice. Side effects include dry mouth, occasional pig snort or two, sore stomach, teary eyes, achy jaws, and whatever tingles well. Laughing heart.
Bingo.
Everything
But
I
Mitch,
say.
if you get a fever tomorrow, you're going to be mandated to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Well, but that's my life anyway. See, I haven't hardly made any changes, to tell you the truth. I don't.
But so
I
will
don't,
a 40-year-old guy. You know,
I gave, yeah.
and
My
so
wife
will
and
a
I were saying,
fireman.
this isn't different than what we always do. We stay home. We go.
Yeah, I stay home,
Yeah.
watch TV, play on YouTube, eat,
Yeah.
go to the
I've been
store a
able to
little
work,
bit,
thank
go
God.
out to the park and fly. I work at home. I don't have a wife or anybody here to bother me. I do what
To
I want,
bother
buy
you,
what I
come
want,
on.
go where I want, and don't have to answer for if I want to buy something. I buy it. I don't have to ask permission. I'm not saying all you married people do, but I've been there. I was married for 35 years, and between you and me, I like this better. I like this better.
And how many
Yeah,
of those were happy?
28 of them.
Nah,
I don't know, I'm
unfortunately, not very many. Because I married the wrong woman twice. Unfortunately, you know, it was neither one of them was.
See,
I don't
Mitch,
think
always
there's, I
listen.
actually, at this point in my life, don't think there's a woman that I could put up with or who could put up with me on the planet Earth.
I think the second part is more accurate. That can put up
it's-
with me.
Yeah, and I'll admit that. I have no,
Oh,
I
know
have
me
no
too. They
delusions.
gotta have my wife.
I have no delusions about any of this. Mel is here. Hey, Mel, how you doing?
No,
No delusions here.
no, I'm with you.
Well, you know, I avoided that problem. I came close to getting married a couple times, and a little voice in my head always said, you know, don't do it.
Do it.
And it's better to break up ahead of time before you
Oh, yeah.
walk down that aisle than after, you know. And, you know, it would have been nice to have the white picket fence, but being a bachelor ain't bad.
No,
Yeah, you can do
at
what
this
you want.
point, especially at this point in my life, at my age, and you're not too far behind me. I'm perfectly
Mike? Did you say Mike's not that far behind you?
not in age. How old are you, Mike?
He's not. He's just over 60, maybe. If
I'm-
Well,
I'm 58, actually. Thanks, Carl.
you're not too. You're 15
So he's-
years.
I was gonna
You're
say.
15, Mike. You're 15 years behind me. So 15 years when you
Right.
get to this age. Look, I know. 50. I know 60-year-olds that are 90.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know 80-year-olds that are 60.
Mhm.
And once you get to a certain point, the number it becomes a lot less important
Mhm.
than your physiology, your genetics, and how you took care of yourself all your life. And that was not, and I found that true with women too. Unfortunately, and this is why I don't date anymore, because I tried. God, that I tried. When I got divorced in 16 years ago, and I dated for probably 10, 12 years, and I mean, I was looking. I thought that after having always been married, I felt like there was something wrong with me because I didn't have a wife.
Yeah.
You know, seriously, I felt like I you know, it's the way it's supposed to be. So I'm looking, and I've always been way young for my chronological age.
Yeah.
In fact, I to this day don't consider myself to have fully grown up yet. No, seriously,
working on
I'm
it.
a kid. I'm just a big kid. I've always been that way. I'm a big kid, and I like to play with, you know, I like to play. I still have a good outlook, even with all the crap I've been through.
Right.
And
That's what keeps us going.
at this point, I have no, absolutely zero health issues, none.
Awesome.
Okay, none. I don't go. I go to the VA once a year for a physical. I mean, I had a little bout with skin cancer, but you know, that's not what that's a condition, but not what I consider a health issue. You get,
Right.
you know, it comes, you get it cut off, it goes away, you're done with it.
Yep.
You know, I don't have any pain. I don't take any medications. I'm
Yes.
very lucky,
Same,
very lucky for somebody my age.
same
I
here.
don't- I
I don't take any medication. If I have an ache, hey, there's aspirin. You know, take care of that. And I still stay active. Like yesterday, I went fishing with a friend, and because of the way the bank was, I'm sitting on a 5-gallon drum, but it's at an angle, so I got this cramp in my well right here from kind of holding it up, and you know, that's how I. Anyway, so I was sore going to bed last night, but took some aspirin and woke up a little stiff, but after I walked around a bit, it worked its way out, and I'm back to my usual self. Now, Mike mentioned that walking down that aisle, I was engaged twice, so that first one, I'm glad that didn't work out, because she wanted a green card. She was from Honduras, and you know, very
Oh,
dangerous. But
do you know how many of those I went
a
through?
lawyer. So I
Do you
thought, hey, I'm moving up. I got a lawyer. She passes the boards here in the U.S. and you know, I thought, hey, you know, I might be set for this. And but that didn't work out. But had some fun along the way. And but
Green
she
card,
went
bro.
back to Honduras.
Oh,
and that
yeah.
was it.
Art,
And
the green card scenario in internet dating for
yep.
men my age is just a tremendous amount of fun, because I mean, they're not interested. They're really not interested in you, but they have to make you happy, because they want you to marry them and get a green. I mean, I can't remember how many Honduran women, Brazilian women,
Yeah.
Colombian women. It was
Brazilian
crazy. I one of these days I'll show. If I start showing you some pictures of these women, you'll go, "How the hell did you ever end up with someone
Yeah.
that looked like that?" I tell you, it's easy. They wanted green cards, but I never. I mean, those things lasted generally a month or two.
Yep,
And-
that's about right. Yep.
And I got tired. I was the one that always broke it off. I got tired of it, because that's what it takes me, about a month and a half to get tired of a
Figure it
particular
out.
woman. No, just you know, it's the old. You've heard of the old cow theory. You know what that is. A bull will never be with the same cow twice. A bull, you turn a bull loose into a herd of cattle, he knows every cow he's been with and will stay away from them. It's that first. They're not interested in a cow the second time. They want the cow the
I've
first
gotten
time.
back a few times.
Well, yeah, but after a while, after you know, it does the thrill is gone, as they say. You know, I mean, that's just the way. I don't know what it's with you, but it is with me.
Yeah.
It's not the same. So I mean,
Mel
a lot of
wants to
songs
know
have been
what
written about that.
happens if you divorce after they get the card. That
Immigration
all
come after you.
Depends if the government's watching.
Yeah.
If you got an agent that was very suspicious of you, for example, and had a feeling that you were doing it, they watch you for a while afterwards. They'll put you in jail.
Oh,
And
yeah.
these women were willing to pay $10,000 was the going rate
Yep.
if you would marry
I've heard
them
of
for a
that.
green card. $10,000. Yeah, I had that offer many times. Me, I entered every relationship with honorable intentions, and then this nonsense came up, and then it went away, and one after another. But
Should have moved to Utah. You would have become rich and had a harem.
no, but the point of that story was that in the long run, I tend to be, I have less pressure on me when I'm alone. because if I'm with a woman, I would want her to be happy. Because if they're not happy, there's no way you could be happy. You know that.
True statement.
They won't let you. They will not let you be happy unless they're happy. So
I know a couple of guys that married women from Vietnam, and they've never fessed up on fully how it happened. They say they met online, and that's all they say. They don't, I don't know what the deal was. I think they were, kind of, catalog brides or whatever you want to call them.
Mail order.
And mail order, yeah. And but they've been together for like 10 years, though. So
Well,
they actually have stayed together.
it's possible. Look, it's possible. Maybe what started with the wrong intentions turns out that's the woman for you. You know, unfortunately I never found the
Didn't
one.
find
There's
it.
always, and it may be because of my experiences with my ex that had me PTSD'd when it came to women in general. I mean, they'd look at me sideways, and I would just see it coming, and I would, that I used to tell these women. I used to, you go to the meeting, the big meeting at Starbucks, or because they, you correspond a little, and one of the things about internet dating that you have to watch out for is if a woman, most of them put up pictures of themselves when they were way younger, 20 years, 25 years ago. Okay, so you're corresponding, and if you're smart, you get to the first meeting fast. You don't try to get to know them by emails, and then when they finally decide that they've emailed you enough, they'll give you their phone number so that they can talk to you on the phone for a month.
Mhm.
When you're going to have a big letdown like you normally have when you meet these people, the best thing is to get it over. Don't get invested in it. Don't get your hopes up, because you begin, you could absolutely fall in love with somebody by their personality and their voice on a phone, and then when you meet them, you want to kill yourself.
Well, no, Joe, when you go to that meeting on your phone, set your alarm for 10 minutes. And when it goes off, act like it's a phone call and say, I got an emergency, I got to go.
Yeah,
And
well,
that's
I got
your
past,
way out of
I
it.
got past the polite part after the first couple of years. I used to not want to hurt their feelings if there was like, you walk in and you take one look and some, you just know, like, no way. It's just no way.
Did you ever just walk in and then walk out, like, immediately?
I
Or did
had
you give
one.
them-
I had one time where I looked at her and I just was speechless, and all I could come up with was, I said, I can't do this anymore. I turned around and walked out.
That was fair.
I drove an hour and a half for this particular
Wow.
meeting too. I went to Jacksonville. That's the stupid part. You end up, and I can't do this anymore. And I got to the point, hi, I'm Mitch. I'm here to meet your daughter.
Oh, geez.
Because the pictures that they put up looked like would have been their daughter. These people, they put a picture of a 45-year-old and a 75-year-old shows up. And I was doing this when I was in my mid to late 50s and early 60s.
Really?
And the problem that I had was, regardless of whether I'm going to be 73 here too soon from now, okay? I'll be 73. I mean, that a couple of months and a half, 6 weeks, something like that.
April,
73 to me is my old grandfather. I mean, that's when I think a 73-year-old. I think of a decrepit old guy, and I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
And yet, when I think of a woman, let's say she's 10 years younger than me, a 63-year-old woman, who would be a young woman to me at 73,
Yeah.
still looks like my grandmother.
Oh,
Yeah.
geez.
She's a hot
She
granny.
looks like my grandmother. She's got that short little white hair, and she's built like a beer barrel, and she's got 5 little dogs, and she's got 4 kids, all of whom rely on her for everything. Half of them live with her. She's babysitting her great grandchildren all the time. I'm
Right,
supposed
they
to
have
feel
no
I'm
father.
supposed to be attracted to this. Now, you show me a 45-year-old
There you
woman,
go.
I'm attracted to a 45-year-old. But what the hell does an attractive 45-year-old woman want with a 73-year-old guy unless he's got $1 billion? I don't have the $1 billion. They don't have any use for me. So I'm at a point where the ones that I want would never want me. The ones that might want me, I have no use for. So, because they remind me of my grandmother.
You're rough. You are rough.
And
Wow.
the women that are
Are
that
they
are
the
with,
ones with the handkerchief up the sleeve?
I mean, I live in a community full of these women, and
You
I don't
got some
find.
schmutz on your face.
Yeah, exactly. These are not.
Let's just
you know,
sit on the
these are not-
Davenport.
Because see,
with
I'm
them
still
and-
looking. You guys know this. Men know this. If you were having this conversation with women, they'd be calling you all kinds of names. They'd be calling me names right now. But the reality of the fact is that no matter how old you get, you're still looking out of young eyes.
Yeah.
Your
Right.
brain is still the same.
Well, you want
Maybe-
something attractive to your eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're not naturally attracted,
It's not
you
going to happen.
can't fake it. You can't want to be attracted.
Yeah.
It's a built-in hardwired
That's
mechanism.
the way we're made. Yeah, exactly.
And we're
Yeah.
built that way, and there's a reason why we're built that way, and there's nothing we can do. Rick Halber says stick with drones, Mitch. Yeah, I do. I stick with drones. Give me a lot less trouble.
Yeah.
Probably cheaper.
Well,
a lot-
these guys I know that married the Vietnamese women, they're no pieces of work either. You know what I mean? So culturally, you know, women in Vietnam, from what I understand, aren't held in that high esteem. You know, they're not like American women culturally.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
what they're looking for is,
Stability.
in terms of what they're
maturity.
used to, these guys are gems.
oh yeah, yeah. That's
No.
why Art, you have Philippine girlfriend, right?
Yep.
Well, that's why so many American men go to places like the Philippines or Vietnam to find, call it a mail order bride or whatever,
Right.
because
Whatever.
these women aren't friggin' entitled like these American women. I'm sorry, but these I don't know what it is about these American women. Now, on the other hand, I've met a couple of real mouthy Chinese women who were like like little queens. They ran the roost. But
Mitch, you know what's worse is you get one of those women that you're talking about, and then they get a hold of how American women are, and then they try to be like it.
they become westernized,
And they're
Yeah.
worse than the ones that are.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's why I want to live there, so they're not contaminated by the culture here. You know,
I don't think I'm ready to
I get live
in
like
another
a king
country.
over there because the cost of living is so much cheaper.
You live like a king here, man. Guy's got
three-bedroom
a
house for under $500 a month.
guy's
Live
got
like
a
a
grand
king, right,
piano.
Art?
He's got
Huh?
a grand piano.
You
in
live
his
like a
living
king.
room.
Yeah, that's right.
You have a house
Got a
like
grand
that.
piano, man. Look at him.
Servants.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the travel, I'd
Tomorrow
ask you
the
this
wrinkles,
anyway.
yeah, Jim. Man, well, we sure are having a wide-ranging discussion tonight.
Yeah.
That's because I'll tell you what. One of the reasons I'm just a little tired of talking about drones.
Yeah.
There's more to life than just drones. And
Yep.
God, there's so many of these live streams. It's all
Yeah.
it's about.
Well,
It's fun
that's
to
why I did the comedy thing today. I wanted to do something different and kind of bring a little humor to this situation that we're in and have fun and and also kind of reconnect with some old friends too. We all get to talk and share stories and say, hey, remember when, and blah, blah, blah. it was a lot of fun. And tomorrow I'm going to do the same thing. I've got another set of comedians that are lined up for today. I just woke up this morning and I thought, hey, how about I do something like this? You know, get a bunch of comedians on, talk about the business, tell a
Yeah,
few
why not?
jokes, and have fun. Something that's totally different.
You got a
It's
captive
not
audience
rated
now, that's for
PG,
sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Is it rated PG, R, or G, or not that it
Uh,
matters?
well, it's not for kids,
Okay.
but there might be some salty language here and there. But
That's fine. Doesn't bother me. I'm just wondering.
I
I can
see.
handle it.
I see Ray Kelly's watching another live stream at the same time he's watching this one. You know, that's the problem today. Too many friggin' live streams. I noticed that you know, like I got 14 people watching now. You know, I mean, you'd think.
Yeah,
Sometimes I look at the number of people that really care, and I say, why
16,
why
yeah.
why bother? I said, why bother? You know,
Because you have fun.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think.
I do,
I
but I
hope.
got to tell you, there was today, as pissed off as I was about, and I got to stop letting this stuff, the politics and all this crap. that's
Stop
going
watching,
on.
Mitch. I'm telling
Got
you.
to stop
Yep.
letting it. I got to
Take
stop
your
letting
little
it
tiny
aggravate
hawk
me.
outside or your little drones. or
It's been too
something.
windy. It was too windy today.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying just
uh,
get out, go outside.
yeah,
Did
I
your
almost
guys'
was going
picture
to
freeze up?
do
Say
what?
again?
Is your picture frozen?
No,
Oh, mine is.
Well,
is it?
What about
nah,
you? Try to.
take it out of the freezer.
You're not frozen here. You're still moving.
Yeah, I'm
Thaw it
frozen on my
out.
screen.
Are
Stick
you?
it in
All of our
microwave.
pictures, or just you?
Oh, the whole screen.
Oh,
You see
hit
what I
the-
got to do?
Well, hit
Oh,
the
now-
reset. If
now
worse comes to
Mike
worse,
is
you come
frozen.
back in.
I had one of the comedians, he was having audio problems. So he finally dropped off. There were 5 of us at one time, and then it was just down to 4. Yeah, I asked Chris Fonseca about if the rumors were true that he was married to Susan Olsen, who played Cindy on the Brady Bunch. And that was just a rumor going around.
Oh yeah.
But they dated a while, and they did a few radio shows together, and that was it. Yep.
So
Who
I
was
guess
this you're talking about?
Mike is rebooting his computer. I would guess.
Susan Olsen, she played
No,
the
no,
youngest
the
gal
man,
on-
the man that you were talking about, the
Oh,
comedian.
Chris Fonseca. He's a disabled comedian. He has cerebral palsy. Very
Oh wow.
funny guy. We started at about the same time back in '84.
Gotcha.
Yep.
There he is. He's back.
All right.
Back.
This
Are
is
we
freaking
moving?
Google Chrome, man. My computer doesn't like it.
Huh. Well, you got a Mac?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Mine either.
Ray Kelly says bye, Mike, and then hi, Mike. Poor Ray, we got him jumping here. Steve Carpenter. Oh,
Hey,
There
Steve.
we
Son?
go.
you're locked down, man. Where you been, Steve?
Yeah.
You missed
Patch
it.
a hole in
I wanted to let it.
Ah, goodness. So I guess tomorrow we're going to do the same thing we did today. Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm going to the work. I have to
You're gonna,
work.
yeah. Just don't drink
It's
any
funny,
of that fish
people just-
tank. Don't drink
let
any of
me
that
in.
fish tank cleaner there, Carlos.
Yeah.
I was listening to that story. Like people are just.
It's true. It's
I know,
true. Have
I
you?
believe it. It's like
Remember that?
they actually have to put "do not eat" on those little packets that they put in the stuff because people are just idiots.
Remember a year or so ago when people were eating Tide Pats?
Yeah, that was some
Right.
kind of
Kids.
What was that about?
Yeah.
Getting high or something, or some kind
I
of
don't know. They're
idiots.
in the head.
Now
Yeah.
there's this toilet licking challenge.
No.
You see that?
Really?
With the corona, or whatever we want to call it, so it's not
COVID
going to get in trouble. Uh, Among the young people, lick a toilet.
Yeah, I
It's
heard
like
about
stupid.
Yeah.
It's like Russian roulette.
And somebody will do it.
that. Here,
Oh
you see
yeah,
that?
they've done it.
You see that? A man thought aquarium cleaner with the same name as the antiviral drug chloroquine would prevent coronavirus. It killed him. Maricopa County, Arizona. A couple in their 60s watched politicians and news anchors on TV tout chloroquine, an anti-malaria drug that has been shown to disrupt some viruses, but has not been proved effective against the novel coronavirus. The pharmaceutical name matched the label on the bottle of chemicals they used to clean their koi pond. The fish tank solvent that treats aquatic parasites contains the same active ingredient as the drug, but in a different form that can poison people. So I was sitting on the back shelf. And now these same people, no sooner did this come out, they're blaming Donald Trump for this.
Jeez.
I like
Honest to
what
God,
Mel wrote. Mel wrote, a month ago, laying on the couch with chips and a beer was being a bum. Now it's being a responsible adult.
Yeah, there's absolutely for a lazy person, and that this is absolutely a great excuse. Now they can just lay around and do nothing and say I'm contributing.
Doing my part.
I'm doing my part. Yeah.
Hey,
But just so
we
you,
got,
just if you thought I was making
Ari
that up
is in.
about the fish tank cleaner, you see I'm not.
No, trust me. You know what? I think no, maybe I haven't told you. Animal crackers in the shape of farm animals exist. So I'm having trouble at one fish tank. Fish are dying. I asked the lady, "What are you feeding the fish?" I'm feeding this food, that food, and the cookies. The cookies? What cookies? She takes me to the kitchen. Animal crackers in the shape of fish in the tank. And I can't make that stuff up. It's just people are idiots.
Are you serious?
I cannot make this up. I'm not that good.
That's funny. That's just funny.
Oh my goodness, the things that people do. Wow, it's amazing.
Hey, now we got Aussies in the house.
Who we got? Remote pilots. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Ari.
Excuse me.
How you doing? Yeah.
Ari,
Oi, 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 oi.
Ari, how you doing, Ari?
how are you?
Ari,
I
they're
know
all
you
locked
were,
down. How about New Zealand, man? They just shut New Zealand down, didn't they?
Wow.
They're not allowed out of the house now. Did you hear that?
No, I
No.
Yeah. One of the what was it? X-Jet. You know who he is? He's a
Bruce.
Bruce. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a video today. Basically said that that's it. The government
Wow.
said stay home. Period. It's against the law to go out or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really
Mhm.
it's really getting crazy. But we'll see. We'll see. Give it another week or two.
Yep.
Everything will. And I really think that it's going to reach a point where people are just going to say, "Ah, to hell with it. I'm just,
Right.
Yes,
They
the
already
weather
are.
gets nice.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm going about my life. They want to, and they're threatening to arrest people, put them in jail for a year. Yeah, that'll work.
The thing is, though, I agree with what you're saying, Mitch, but the thing is, all of us better be prepared to get it.
I think that
Most of us are
think,
probably going to get it, I
Or
believe.
be
Well,
willing to do it.
but we're coming to the end of the virus season anyway.
It's
these
still
are
growing
seasonal.
up here.
Yeah, but it's not starting to get warm up there yet.
Yeah.
I
It's going to
I
start
think a lot of
south.
people, a lot of people are going to get it. I think that it's going to be like a bad flu, like any other bad flu, and I think that I really, from what I've seen and read, this chloroquine and the Z-Pack really do knock it out. In fact, I saw yesterday. I was watching some news show last night, and they were interviewing this doctor, professor from, was it Harvard? One of the Ivy League schools. He was a medical researcher who
some smart kid.
specializes in communicable diseases, and obviously a liberal because they all are.
Harvard, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean all of them, all the elite
Yeah.
professors up there are all vested and they're all better than they're the elite. They're smarter and better than us and everybody else who know
Yep.
nothing. The great unwashed, like Hannity says, the Walmart crowd, And he was saying, and he wasn't looking too good, and he was coughing. And I think it was, who was interviewing? Was it Hannity? I think it was Sean Hannity was interviewing him, or Tucker Carlson, one of them, the Fox guys. And this doctor said, I got it. He says, yeah, I got it. He tested positive. He's got the coronavirus. Okay. And he says, and it's miserable. So the Sean or whoever's interviewing him said, because they were talking about this, what they were talking about was the fact that Trump was being accused of misleading everybody about the effectiveness of these drugs and creating false hope and playing doctor and all the other things they're accusing him of doing because he dared to be a little optimistic about something, And this so Sean Hannity asked this doctor, he says, well, what about you? Are you going to take that stuff? And the doctor says, yeah, I plan to in about an hour. He says, I should be better by tomorrow. I'm serious. This is the doctor, the big deal head researcher, is already convinced that this combination of drugs works. Yet the media are still out there with this nonsense. So I thought that was very ironic that he actually admitted that he was going to take it as soon as they were done with this broadcast, because he didn't like being sick like he was, and he knew that it was gonna fix him right up. So
Well, I hope it does work. It
We'll see.
works for a lot of people.
and it may not work for everybody,
Yep.
but the good news about it is that the side effects of this drug are well known and documented after 70 years of use for a lot of things.
Is this the malaria drug?
Yeah, the malaria drug. They use it for a lot of things. Malaria, they treat people who have lupus with it, arthritis with it, a lot of uses, and the side effects are very, very rare and very limited. So as far as a new drug, if they had just concocted up a brand new potion, it would have to go, they would have to do the first stage, second stage,
Right.
third stage clinical trials, evaluate the side effects. But here's a drug, they already know the side effects. They know it's not going to hurt many people.
Yeah.
So,
This is for someone who has already contracted the disease, right? Not as
exactly. Well,
Okay.
who knows? They may end up using it prophylactically, but right now, like everything else, they don't have enough of it. In fact, I
Right.
read today that some woman who's got lupus and has been taking this and it's been helping her can't get it now because everybody else wants it.
Oh, I got you.
So they have to ramp up. But there's a couple of good things coming out of this. Really good things. In the long run, I think when this is all over, we'll survive it. Some people will die. A lot of them would have died of something anyway.
Yeah.
They're old people. They're sick people. Like I
You know
said
what
in
I
the
bet,
beginning,
Mitch, that I'm a little skeptical? I don't think we're going to see on labels made in America anymore in the next 5 years than we did today. I think businesses are still going to look for cheap labor, and they're not going to be, and they're not going
I'll
to be.
tell you,
anything.
I
I hope I'm wrong.
I
but-
think, and I can't disagree with you because that would be fortune telling. But I think that one of the good things that's coming out of this is it shows us how unchecked immigration can be a danger to us in ways that we hadn't thought of, and it even though these illegal immigrants have been bringing in disease with them, it hasn't made the big time news. But now all of a sudden, disease is a big
Oh,
concern.
did you see how Mexico's putting razor wire on their side of the fence.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I think that's one benefit. Another benefit is back during the Obama administration when they had the swine flu,
Yeah.
they used up all the masks and supplies in our national reserves and never replaced them. So, of course, Trump takes office with empty reserves, which everybody now is saying he should have known. It's okay that Obama didn't replace them, but Trump should have replaced them the day he moved in. You know, between the time I'm defending myself from being a Russian spy or defending myself for this or defending myself for that, when am I supposed to have time to think about replenishing the crap that Obama didn't in the
Not
midst
to
of
mention
being
that's
attacked
somebody
every
else's
day?
job.
Yeah. So
He can't do it all.
one of the things that we've learned is you have to keep those. We have to have the stores. We have to have oil reserves. We have to have reserves of these medical supplies. We have to be prepared for pandemics, and we weren't.
Mitch,
Another
Cuomo.
thing.
Okay, good.
Another thing that we are learning from this is that we are way too dependent on China for our our prescription drugs and the ingredients in prescription drugs, and that if China decided to say, hey, we're cutting you off, we would have a crisis that you wouldn't believe. So it's time to bring, not only did we bring oil production back to this country so we're not being held hostage by Arabs anymore, but we now should bring any manufacturing back to this country that we rely on for anything health related or anything like that. And these are things I think we learned. Now the media doesn't want you to think these things because that's what Trump's been screaming for the past 20 years, let alone since he was elected, was all these problems about trade balances and us being reliable and relying on these people. And these people, they're not our friends.
No, that's
Not
just
sure today.
None of them, not even our allies, really. Because if it comes right down to them or us, they're going to look out for them, and that's just natural. It's like you with your neighbor. You may like your neighbor a lot, but if there's only enough food for one of you, somebody's going to go.
Well, they're in for a bunch of trouble in Europe in the next decade that has nothing to do with disease in terms of demographics, and from coming in from certain
where,
religion,
So Steve was hiding.
Hey, Steve.
So they're in for a heck of a lot of trouble. Ireland isn't going to be Irish in like 30 or 40 years, and
whose fault now? Whose fault is that?
it's the I don't know what it is. It's self-induced suicide.
The European Union.
Yeah,
They homogenized all of these countries by taking the borders down, allowing people to cross freely, and then opening up the whole mess, the whole continent, to illegal immigration from the Middle East.
Right.
And now look what they got, and how they're going to fix it. England has taken the first big step, and finally, after how many years, got this Brexit thing through.
But even by birth rate, if you stop it now, birth rate, Europeans are not replacing themselves, and immigrants are multiplying, twofold.
Like rabbits.
Roland says wrong info, so I must have said something that wasn't true.
Or I did.
Or you did. I would hate to see Ireland not Irish anymore, Ray Kelly says. America has made it abundantly clear they don't want to be friends with anyone. I find militarizing the Canadian border really offensive. Well, Gary, I don't know what to say. I don't hate Canada. I think.
Yeah. I like
Mike,
it.
did you hear
We're
Governor
speaking
Cuomo?
more of the Europeans. I
Yeah.
think.
Mike,
Yeah.
Mike, did you hear Governor Cuomo today saying the reason we have so many people here is because we allow everybody to come in and we're stuck together? And then he wants money from the federal government, and I'm from New York, just for the record, He wants money from the federal government. Meanwhile, when they ask for cooperation with the immigration, they say no. This is a sanctuary city.
Yes,
But they complain, so that they want it both ways. They don't want to listen to when the federal government, says, "Here, we need your help," and now all of a sudden, you know what I mean? It's smack.
Yeah.
Well, he's got he's got his followers and his voters base. I mean, last week Cuomo was praising Trump. Remember?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Praising him. But all of a sudden that wasn't fashionable anymore. Now Trump's not giving New York, they're not giving New York enough money in this bill. Not enough money for New York in this bill. These politicians, man, it's amazing their finger hasn't gotten soggy and fallen off already, because they're always doing this.
It's amazing how Cuomo knew that he needed all the respirators that he's crying all over, but yet he took the money and invested into solar wind farms.
Oh yeah, these people are criminals. But I'll tell you what, I would make you a bet right now that Cuomo is going to be the Democrat nomination for president.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mitch.
I think that's what they're grooming him for this. This guy is leadership material, man. Look at the job he did leading New York through this crisis. This is the guy we need in the White House.
Don't rule a woman out as being on board with them.
Well,
Roland,
if you're talking about Hillary, I hope not. AOC, can you imagine him bringing AOC in his place?
Three. I'm saying Hillary, Michelle, Obama.
Yeah.
And the other one is Kamala Harris. Don't rule her out yet.
That woman.
They're not ready. They can't get elected yet. Thank God. A few more years they will be.
I don't think so this time around. But I do think Cuomo. I think that Biden is done. If you've seen any of Biden's public appearances in the past week, I mean, I feel sorry for the guy. I think he's a crook. I've always thought he was a crook. I've always thought, but they're all crooks. So why is he doesn't stand out? There's only one guy I know of in Washington D.C. that isn't there for the money, and that's Donald Trump.
Roland in the chat, he's in Europe, and he just put a comment and a couple others. If you're poor, you're going to look for a better life, and that's true.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. But a lot of people are coming here to the U.S. and we see it. They're coming here for a free ride, and the politicians on the left want to give people a free ride because they see it as votes. And
it's all it is. It's all it is in votes, and that's not.
It's suicidal to the nation, man. I mean, sure, everybody in the Middle East, I'm sure, wants to live in a nice, peaceful place, and you want them living next to you, when all of a sudden you're a stranger in your own neighborhood. It isn't free love, in the '60s, and everyone gets along.
Mike, you're spot on. And what the problem being is, take a number and get in line. My grandparents, when they immigrated from the Middle East, they're Christian Lebanese. They couldn't come through Ellis Island, so they ended up going to Cuba, from Cuba to Mexico. They lived in Mexico for 13 years. My mom, my aunt, and my two uncles were all born there. They immigrated once their numbers came in. And the problem being is all these illegals are coming in, and I will use the word illegal, and we're paying for them.
What other word is there?
Alien.
Take a number and get them.
Undocumented workers.
Yeah, I agree. And there has to be
all the people that have waited in line that are here. They're still waiting in line to get their approval, or they're in Mexico or other countries, and they have all these people jumping ahead of them.
But we just can't take everybody.
Yeah.
Roland says he thinks that the bastards are coming sooner than the good people. Well, that's the problem. The criminals are coming.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I
think that, look, was it up to 1965 or after 1965? There was a number of years where they shut off immigration completely. I think it was before 1965.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
because when people immigrate, you want them to assimilate into society. You want them to learn to speak the language and become Americans, not hyphenated Americans, or not people living in an enclave that is like a little piece of another country stuck right in the middle of our country, a place where you're afraid to walk down the street at night. We don't want that. So I think that there's nothing wrong with immigration. My relatives, my ancestors all immigrated to this country with papers in their hand, and they went through the medical physicals, and they waited at Ellis Island. They did everything like they were supposed to. They came in here legally, got their
we need
papers,
immigration. We need
took their citizenship test, which was a real citizenship test back then. You had to actually study for it.
I just don't want America to become Mexico. I don't want it to become Saudi Arabia.
It's already becoming Central and South America.
Right. And and it's not a racist thing.
No.
I don't care the color of someone's skin, But I mean,
no, I don't either. It's a cultural thing to me.
Right.
And I always say to people that there's a big difference between culturalism and racism. And you can't confuse the two. But that term is racism. It's like, people calling Trump a racist because he shut the Chinese airlines. Well, China is not a race. It's a country, for God's sakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not a race. Caucasian is a race,
Yep.
Yeah, but that's on their talking points, and they have to stick with their talking points.
Of course.
Right, and it's so easy to talk that way. You have to use your head and make hard decisions to make the hard decisions. It's so easy just to think, kumbaya, and we're going to love everybody, and it doesn't work. Reality doesn't work that way. We all know that. We're talking to ourselves.
You know
here.
what?
Yeah.
I heard a lady put it in one way that I like. Instead of a melting pot, she said a tossed salad.
Yeah.
In regards to, no, but think of it like, you have the Italians. Yes, they speak English, but they still keep their Italian roots. You have the Irish. They have whatever their culture is and their roots, but they learn the language. I don't think there's anything wrong with keeping somewhat of your culture. I mean, the Jewish, they do it here. The Greeks, the Muslims, but we all still live together. I don't know.
Gary is really mad at us. He says, defend that border so the Canadians don't. I don't know if he's kidding or he's really angry. But
No,
Gary, this has got nothing to do with us not liking Canadians. Hell, half the people I know down here are Canadians living here for the winter. They own property, they own businesses. They're that's not a problem. I think if there's anything, it has to do only with the disease, with the virus right now. And if I'm not mistaken, Gary, Canada closed its border to us first. Am I wrong about that? Canada closed the border.
Yeah, about a week ago.
So don't you be mad at me. I'm mad at you.
I think he just doesn't like
you don't want us Americans up there in Canada, do you?
He just thinks you're a jerk off all the time, Mitch.
Oh, jeez.
Gary's my good buddy. Gary's my good buddy. He knows.
Mitch, I was going to ask you, when you guys were talking about, the side effects and the health, did you see the video that came out of the interview? It was a female journalist interviewing a gentleman that had the virus and did an interview, and he went through all the signs and symptoms. He was middle-aged, outstanding health. I mean, his heart at rest is 40 beats a minute.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, just the epitome of good health. He said what happened to him, he says the only thing he can tell you is imagine breathing and feel like your lungs have glassified. That's the word he used.
Yeah.
I'll send the video out. I've got it on my phone. My cousin forwarded it to me. And what it is the doctors did not put him on a ventilator. They says that's the worst thing we want to do, because what we're doing is we're aiding you to breathe. Because what happens is when you damage your bronchial cells, they're damaged forever.
Yep.
They do not regenerate. And what happens is the doctors and the nurses and the physical therapists and the hospital he was in, because of his good health, got him to stand up and move around. He says, I was coughing, I was crying, I was vomiting. He goes, but I got through it. And my lungs have recovered good enough because they were forcing me to make me use my lungs, where the people that are on these ventilators, they are going down, 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 being on the ventilators.
Really?
And
So
this
maybe
is,
we don't need ventilators, but they're learning. Steve,
Well,
they're learning.
none of us are doctors. I don't want to play doctor, but
Yeah.
But I play one on TV.
And with respect to Gary, I mean, you know,
Well, we all play when
he
we
says
were
he is pissed. But
Yeah,
you know,
guys,
like Canada, I love Canada. I've been there several times. You know, practically no border 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, you just drove up there and you know, for a weekend. And you know, of course now it's different. But in Canada, they don't have free speech like we have here in the US. And I unapologetically want to keep that free speech. Like about, you know, gender pronouns and stuff like that. You can get in trouble for, you know, not using someone's chosen
really.
whatever. I mean, that's
I'm
you know,
binary.
right. I mean, I don't care what you identify as.
I don't understand what half of that shit means.
It makes no sense. That's why it's incomprehensible.
There's boys and there's girls.
Yeah.
And
I know how to tell the difference.
It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's just,
boy, Gary's really
I've
pissed,
heard people
man.
that live and let live, but just don't tell me how to speak or what to believe.
I don't care what they do.
Can I have a straight day parade and be left
alone?
alone?
No, of course
Can
not.
I have
Be like having a Miss White America pageant. You can't. None of us can do that. You know. So they've turned it all into reverse
we did it for 80
racism.
years.
So now if you're a straight white male in this country, you're the bad guy. Period.
It's
all your fault. It's all your fault. I mean, I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of being blamed when I haven't done any of the crap. I don't care what people do. I don't care if they're gay or whatever. You know what? When I pay money to see a movie, I don't want to see it in front of me. I don't want to see them on the street. I don't want to, you know, just like they don't want to see me on the street with a woman. They say get a room. Well, I say the same thing. You know.
Yeah.
I hear that new Star Trek movie out now, Picard or something like that. They got alien characters in there, whatever that are, you know, little light in the loafer.
Is that another gender too? We have to worry about what.
I don't know if they're trying. Who knows what they are? But they had to put that stuff in. You know, it's like it's indoctrination for the youth.
It's obligatory.
Welcome to the world of Disney.
Disney.
Well,
Disney
it is.
You know what? They make it seem like homeschool is such a bad thing. Also, like, oh, we cannot do it. Homeschool. Most of these kids are smart that are homeschooled.
Right. I know some.
This whole social. They're not socialized. Well, gee, if socializing is being like Ocasio Cortez and hanging out with people like her, I'd rather.
And they are socialized. They socialize in the churches.
My son was homeschooled till 8th grade. He was homeschooled till 8th grade. He got over 90 average in high school when he graduated. It's all crap.
Boy, Gary, I'm sorry you feel that way, my friend. You are my friend. I have nothing against you or your country. But yeah, I do support Donald Trump. And I am a nationalist at heart, and I do care about my country. I served in my country's military. If it's a choice between my country and another country, I'll take my country. And the people in the other, let me finish. And the people in the other country, if given that choice, would take their country too. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. But I'm not going to hate anybody because of that political stuff or anything. My friends are still my friends. My sister, talked to her today, is the single most left individual on the planet Earth. She worked in an abortion clinic her whole life. I mean, she and I, if we ever talk politics, she just gets so upset I think she's going to have a stroke, so we have to stop. But she's my sister and I love her regardless, and no, I'm never going to change her mind. She's never going to change my mind.
Right. Gary, AOC can say what she wants. It's fine, but we also can make fun of her for saying stupid things.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
AOC was the chosen one out of 10,000 applicants that they went out there to pick, and they she won the lottery, and that's where they came up for that district for her to run for office. And her chief of staff is a multimillionaire out of the Silicon Valley that is feeding everything into her.
Of course,
So
she doesn't
it's
know
not-
anything.
It's not just her. It's the machine and the system behind her, and the machine and the system that's behind what Trump has brought to light, which is we've known it's been there. It's just we didn't know how bad it was, and now we're really seeing it.
Yeah. Hey,
That's-
Builder 710 has showed his face. Likes the way I think. Thank you, my friend.
Roland says normal people don't want war. I hope
Of course,
not.
we don't want
I hope
war.
not.
We don't want war. But we, you know, you have. I think that there's nothing wrong with nationalism. I think there's nothing wrong with nations because nations contain their culture. It is the boundary and border for their culture.
Right.
Multiculturalism is not a good thing.
Yeah.
It would be like mixing all the lions and tigers and hyenas and all of these things and putting them all in one pen and telling them to get along. Well, you're going to come back in a couple weeks and find out which ones ate the other ones. And
Well,
there's nothing you're going to do to stop it because they are different animals. And
Hey,
when we
there-
come from, let me finish, Art, a second, if
Okay.
you don't mind. When we come from a certain culture, okay, that's who we are. That's the way we think. That's what we believe. And we are not racists if we don't want to live our lives the way another culture lives their lives. We don't want to eat the food they eat. We don't want to dress like they do. We don't like the music they listen to. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It means it's just not for us. So people tend to congregate with people who are like themselves and want a lifestyle like they have. And there's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And to force us to
Right.
live by somebody else's lifestyle is not right. I don't think it's right. Doesn't mean
Right.
we don't
I-
like
I-
them or
you-
condemn
you-
them or hate them.
Can
I
you,
was
when,
going
you
to
say,
say something.
when you talk about culture, what do you mean?
Culture.
Like, but define culture, because I'm not, like you said, you don't want multicultural.
Okay, go
like,
go
that's
into
like saying I
go
don't want a
in-
Chinese
go into
restaurant.
no, but go into Chinatown. Go into Chinatown. Go into
Right.
these people's houses. Look how they furnish them. Listen to how they talk. Look at the food that they eat. Ask them of their opinions on all these different things, and you'll find that many of them are pretty close to each other, but way different than the guy over in Little Italy next door
Right.
who says, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, they're different cultures.
Oh, okay, but
They're
that's
not
okay.
comfortable.
No?
And usually
Oh.
the different cultures come from different countries because a culture develops because people of like minds all live together.
I don't know. I've been in New York so long that I find that the multicultural is normal. That's that.
Well-
I think that I always thought America was basically an experiment of different cultures coming together.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
but that's why. But they still have Little Italy and Chinatown and Jewish neighborhoods and
But is that a
black
bad
neighborhoods,
thing?
because people want instinctively
They wanna
to
be
be around. They're
American.
comfortable,
Yes,
but they're
no, I
comfortable.
got
That-
here. So
But is that a
they-
bad thing? Is what I'm asking.
No, but they're more comfortable being around people that are like themselves.
And that's
You're-
yeah.
You're,
That makes
you're
sense.
Come here and assimilate to the culture, not force your culture where you come from on the other people here.
Oh, okay.
There's a big.
Now we got something there.
Right. I mean, you keep your culture, but don't force it on someone.
Right.
Exactly.
I've got no problems with Italian neighborhoods, Spanish neighborhoods,
Yeah.
Chinese neighborhoods.
I mean,
nothing.
They
think
got
about
great
it.
restaurants.
Every Sunday they have black church, they have white church, they have whatever church, the Chinese church. I mean, it's been going on forever.
Right.
YouTube is going to, I hope we're enjoying this because YouTube's going to ban this video when we're
I
done.
just don't want to have my throat.
Hi, Mel. How you doing, buddy?
Hey.
Mel is here.
Hi, Ralph. I have a question for Gary, real quick. I'm reading your stuff, which I'm not going to. We can agree to disagree, but there are several statements you're making in here which are not true. And I want to
Exactly.
know what news agency you're listening to, because I can
CNN, sounds like.
I can tell you, he never said that it was going to be done by April. He said we would like to have it back by April, and we'll check it and see with the doctors that they have.
Right.
And he's made that very explicit in the news conference.
Well, that's the
And-
problem. The problem is, Steve, that the news media. You can tell by what somebody says exactly what news media they're listening
I'm giving
to.
him the benefit of the doubt, though, Mitch.
No, it's obvious, and it's a shame because I heard all those. I've listened to every news conference he's had. I've heard everything he said out of his mouth when he said it. When
Yep.
I hear the news put
Right.
their spin on it and and re-edit it and put it together to make a point that was totally 180 degrees different, that's what pisses me off, and that's why I'm so aggravated by all this.
David
Not the
Muir is a
virus.
psychopath.
And so now I think I'll just keep quiet because that was
Hi,
the
Mel.
reason I came into the chat, because that pissed me off.
Well,
Yeah.
you can't.
So,
I'm not going to. I don't
I'm
hold
an
it against them.
ex-veteran, not an ex-veteran. I am a veteran.
Me too.
I stood on the front line so that people could have the freedom to say and do what they have to be able to say and do. And for someone to take false information and twist it even worse, and then call my president a cartoon president, can kiss my royal fat white ass.
Oh,
Now I've
okay.
said my piece.
Thank you, Mel. And with that, guys, it's 8:00. Thank God. Time to get the hell out of here
Good night, everybody.
before
Over
the,
the
wait a minute. The damn
Yeah.
the damn Yahoo. The YouTube cops are going to show up at my door.
Hey, Mel,
No, but
thanks.
it's just not. It's not right to deliberately offend. That's making a statement like that. And I'm not picking on Gary in particular. I'm going to generalize this, okay? Because I don't want to pick on Gary. I don't want to pick on anybody. But making a statement like that is like twisting things around to deliberately be offensive.
Right.
Well,
I mean, that's how I
know-
took it. That's maybe
You
that's
know what
not how
it is?
it
I
was meant.
think it's how he perceived it, and he's just conveying that. That's all.
And
I
that
don't
could
think
be.
he's-
That could
I
be.
think, yeah, I don't think he's.
well, that's how the media has been playing it.
And
All
that's
the
how-
media. So,
You're right. The media has been doing, and
it's
he
disgusting.
did say he would like things to start opening back up by Easter. And in
That's all it said.
areas
It was a dream. Yeah.
in areas of the country that aren't as heavily as affected, there's absolutely no reason things can't start opening back up.
No, Ray Kelly
You
just
know?
sent me a picture of himself. Just so we know whose side he's on. So I'm going to show everybody Ray Kelly's picture here. If you hold on one second, there it is. Hold on a second.
Right on.
There we go.
All right.
So everybody meet Ray Kelly.
Hello, Ray Kelly.
Hiya, Ray. How are you?
Hey, Ray.
Bravo, Ray.
Hey, Mel, you been driving a lot lately?
What's that?
Have you been driving a lot lately? I mean, you're a trucker, right?
Yeah, in the job that I do, I'm in waste management now.
Okay, so different.
Yes, I
Well,
retired
you
from
and
the road.
Right.
people in your business, man,
Bye.
they got to stock back
Bye,
up
bye,
fast.
bye, Art.
So, see, Art.
See, Art. God
Yeah.
forbid Art misses 2 seconds of Ken Heron.
And heroin.
God forbid.
Hey,
We just
Ken's
had
gonna.
24 hours. We just had 24 hours of Ken Heron
Yeah,
on
right.
Monday, didn't we?
I did.
Ken's gonna show off my new logo that I made and animated and
Oh
stuff.
well, let's all get over there.
Yeah, and I'd
Anyway.
rather share it here, so it's seen here first.
So I'll tell you what, guys. It seems like having a political discussion really livened up my otherwise boring show. So
I think
Well,
it's
no,
good.
no, I
I
just want to
listen,
say here's to the truckers, man, because
Well,
you
I
guys got
appreciate
the
that.
shelves stocked,
Mike.
and they were empty.
There's a lot of guys that have been working a lot of hours to do that, and it's everybody. There've been a lot of things going across the internet waves of thank the truckers and God bless them and all this kind of stuff. But what are these people saying for when there's nothing going on, when it's just every day? Oh God, trucks in my way on the highway. They move
Oh, yeah.
slow. They
Yeah.
take up. Them guys must be driving around on vacation, or something. I mean, but when the chips go down, then they want to
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
right.
fair
The
weather
rail
friends,
system
Mel.
and the truckers, man, getting
fair
it
weather
done.
friends. They're all
That's a
it's
good
like
way to put it, man.
Fair weather friends. I
Yeah.
had a bunch of them, man. When I didn't have a big boat anymore, I didn't have 3/4 of my friends anymore either. So
Yep. And you know something else, Mike, about you said the rail system. I'm gonna give you a little tidbit of information that you may not realize about the rail system. If you load a rail car with product in California and you want to send it to North Carolina, it takes 6 to 10 weeks to get there.
As
Really?
opposed to a truck, that's what, much less, right?
A
Yeah,
a twin driver, a team truck can go coast to coast in 40 hours.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
yeah. So,
Well, you know more than me about it. That's for sure.
The tracks
But all
are,
of it
well,
together.
it just surprised me about 20 years ago. Sometime I was studying on rail stuff, and I seen a report that it took 6 weeks for a single train car to make its way from the West Coast to the East Coast, because it has to get switched onto different tracks, and then it gets put in a yard, and it might sit in that yard for 2 or 3 days before another train that's going the direction it's got to go comes through that picks it up, and
Yeah,
gets
I can
connected
believe
to
that.
another train. 6 to 10 weeks.
I can believe that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see.
Yeah.
I can see how that, because very rarely does the train that leaves California, the exact same train shows up in Florida, because that
Right.
stuff's got to go all over the place when it's.
Oh yeah, I mean, they get to just about every state has a rail yard, and they get all separated. And I mean, think about it as UPS or FedEx or the post office, but in 100-ton rail cars. Each package,
Yeah.
each package is a 100-ton rail car.
And it's not like you have a bunch of jets that are flying in multiple different directions. It's like for us here in California, in Mel knows it for sure, like the port of LA. Everything comes from here. Everything that's going to be going to go back east out of the port of LA coming from China, it's only one way out of here, up a Cajon Pass, and up over the top or out of south of San Diego, down through San Diego. That's the only 2 ways out of here.
Yep.
So you got 2 rail lines talking about millions and millions and millions of tons of product that got to get out. It's only 2 lines to get it out on.
And they got to share those rails with the passenger trains.
Yep.
Passenger trains. I bought my mom a train ticket from Oceanside, California, Steve, to Nashville, Tennessee. Actually, they wouldn't even come to Nashville. I had to go up to Dyersburg to pick her up. And to go from basically San Diego to, say, Nashville or Memphis, because I was close to Memphis, she had to go through Salt Lake and then change trains in Chicago to catch a train that was going down to New Orleans. And that train only stopped in Dyersburg to let her off. That was the only reason it stopped there. And it was like 2 a.m. when it came through.
Oh,
We had to be at the little 1-horse town picture, the Old West stagecoach stop, right? I mean, that's about what it felt like.
Yeah.
The building was about the size of a cargo container, and it was the rail station, for Dyersburg, Tennessee. And had we missed her or she missed her stop, the next place I could have got her was New Orleans, because that was the next place the train was going to stop.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had to be there. So I was still married at the time. My wife and we actually went over there in the big truck. I made a delivery in that area and then went up to Dyersburg, and we camped out at the train station waiting for the train to come through. But
Hey, we lost Mike. Where'd Mike?
oh, Mike,
He dropped out.
the passenger trains run the same rails as the freight trains, and they're only allowed to use certain ones at certain times, and all of that scheduling has to work out. So, and then there's a lot of places in the country where there's only one track. There's not an eastbound and a westbound track. There's one track, and east and westbound trains use that one track. So they got to time all that, and it's crazy. It takes a long time for one rail car to go from, say, San Diego to North Carolina or New York or whatever, LA to New York, whatever you want to call it. It's crazy. But yeah,
It's like it's like a flight control tower is for aircraft. They've got the same thing for the trains.
yeah. And trains are actually satellite tracked too.
Yeah.
Every
Now-
one of them. Everyone. Yeah, now they are. Every one of them are satellite tracked, and
That's
they've got radio communications and all that stuff. Now they're high tech. They're big time, but they still don't move that fast.
So,
Mike's back.
But you had a welcome back, Mike. You had a great show, Mitch. I mean, I was listening in most of the time and chatting a little bit, but yeah,
Well, thank you, Mel.
you had a really good show this week.
I certainly spouted off about a lot, didn't I?
This was cool though. I mean, it was a nice change. You were right about the drone thing. It was a
Yeah.
nice change.
Yeah, there's just
Is
only
Brent
so much.
Ariel still around?
I probably ran him off.
I think everybody
Nah,
should
he's
disconnect
look,
up.
he's okay. Some,
Well,
it's
sure.
all. You can't hold that against anybody.
We should have
there's,
peace.
There's times when there's a Canadian I know down here that pisses me off sometimes because of his attitude. Like, he hates America, but yet he comes here for his medical care and he has
Sure.
and for the weather and all that other crap. But all he does is bitch about America while he's here. And I keep saying to him, I want to tell him, just why the hell don't you just stay out of America if you don't like it?
Don't
so
let
much,
the door hit you in the ass on
Yeah.
the way out, right?
But you know what? I still talk to the guy and we get along. So,
And that's good.
gotta
And
look past that.
but I agree with you about the boom, the word gone, flew right out the window.
Senior moment. That's
yeah.
that's okay, Mel.
Culture. Culture.
Culture, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have an issue with people that want to do things a certain way or their way, or if their heritage is from another country, German, Irish, English. I don't really care. You can do what you want to do. If there's neighborhoods like I know in San Francisco, there's Chinatown. I mean, that's where they live. They live in Chinatown. The Chinese
And they
people.
want to live, and they want to live around people like themselves.
And
There's
they
nothing
want
wrong
to
with
be.
that.
They want to be surrounded with what's familiar to them and what they're
Exactly.
comfortable with and what they like. And I don't
Exactly.
see a thing wrong with that. But this is still America.
Here's the thing that's the problem is when they start saying, I want to, let's say you fill out an application for a driver's license or whatever, any form, it should be in English. That's
Absolutely.
the big thing. That's the big thing where they should
Yeah.
learn
Our-
language.
I agree
Our,
with that.
our
You-
basic language is English, and
Yeah, but
we
not
shouldn't-
anymore.
we
Not
shouldn't
anymore.
be expected
No,
to
but it
learn
should-
theirs.
and-
They should
and-
learn ours.
And you know whose fault
Well,
that is? It's
not ours, but the
phone
language of the
company
country.
That says press 2 for Spanish, press 3 for
Yeah.
Korean, press 5.
Yeah.
It's their fault when you really think about it.
Yeah.
And the other thing that drives me nuts is, do you remember the times when there used to be a "Don't Walk" sign that actually said "Don't walk" instead
Yeah.
of this?
Yeah.
Because people are
5
idiots and
different
they don't want to
languages.
read
Yeah.
or learn
Right.
how to read, or do you have the guy walking instead of the walk?
Well, Mitch remembers the arm that went out.
Nuts.
Yeah. And guys,
We talked you out.
I'm talked out, and
I know you.
I just got one thing left to say here tonight, and I just want to.
Oh, look at that stogie. What is that? A 50?
Looks bigger than 50
That
on
looks
the
like
screen.
a small dark PVC pipe that he's lighting up.
It looks a whole lot. It works a whole lot better when you light the end instead of the middle, though, Mitch.
If there's one thing I know how to do, guy, it's light a cigar. Oh, that's good.
There you go.
I just had
Well-
to play that.
Thank you for letting me come in at the last moment, and I did kind of give you a warning. I said I came on because I saw something that made me mad, and
Yeah, and that's okay.
I shared my
And-
passion, and I'm very passionate about some of my passions, and I think
and
we all are, and I think
and that's
that
a
is
good
a good thing. Exactly,
Absolutely.
You know,
Carlos.
yeah.
Exactly.
I think that people can agree to disagree and still be
Yeah.
civil and friendly
Sure.
to each other. And
Absolutely.
I do it
You
with
have
my
to.
wife all the
Everybody's-
time.
He has to do it because he's married, right? So that's an everyday process for him.
Exactly. It's called, what do they call it? have to compromise constantly. Compromise constantly within
Oh,
reason.
that was
Yeah.
funny.
You
That
know
was funny.
what's interesting is a lot of people don't know, and which I'm sure Gary may not know, and I'm just assuming is, you know what they're doing now instead of coming across through the southern border, they're catching a flight out of Tijuana, and for $300 they're flying into Canada.
Mhm.
These are not only Mexicans, they're Guatemalans, Hondurans,
Even
Nicaraguans.
Iranians all
Yeah, they're
over.
flying on a one-way ticket to Canada. They're letting them in, and then they're crossing from the northern border into
Yeah.
the United States now.
I don't know
Because they can
how.
get through easier.
You
They're
still
taking them
need it.
across non-border protected areas. So,
Oh,
what? 95% of
Yeah.
the Northwest is not a protected border.
that's true.
Yeah.
True.
It's wilderness.
But
Well-
this time of year, it's certain death.
Yeah.
Well, it's all down to the money, the coyotes.
That freeze
Yeah.
to death this time of year. But
Right,
anyway.
all right, Mitch,
All
I'll
right,
be the
guys,
first
that's
say
going to be it
goodnight.
for tonight.
Mel,
Thank
I
you,
gotta
man.
try-
Great show. Carlos,
Hey,
Steve.
thank you, Mel. Thanks for coming in.
Mel, good to see you. We're going
I
to see
hate to get rid
Kumbaya.
of
Kumbaya. I'll do the bass part. Who wants to
you.
come in and
You
harmony?
sing, and I'm going to get rid of you.
Kumbaya.
just to take the DMV test in the California here, there's 32 different languages that it's written in.
That's,
Yeah,
Try biting
That's
out
nine.
that one
It's-
about
it's
assimilation.
it's stupid.
That's a
And
nine.
on that note, man, I'll tell you, I can't get these guys to go home.
No,
You ever
we
have a
just want to
party where
stay
people-
with you,
Once you
man.
get
People
done
just
with
won't
her,
go
we
home.
started.
America.
Merca.
Thanks,
Hey,
Mitch.
guys,
We'll
thanks.
see you.
All
Hey,
right.
thanks so much. I enjoyed having all of you in
Thank
tonight.
you, guys.
I'm,
Take care.
I'm just
Okay,
my voice
thanks.
is about had it.
Thank
Mike,
you.
thanks a lot. Steve,
All right, bye-bye.
you too, buddy. Okay, take it easy. Hey, they went home. I love them all. Great guys. Thank you so much, guys. What a spirited show we had here tonight, and I'm worn out. I'm an old man, and I'm worn out. And thanks everybody who hung in here with me. Mel, Carlos, Rick Halber still here. Thanks a lot, buddy. Timeless Truths, Ray Kelly, all you guys hung in. Jim, Above and Beyond, still here. Roland, thank you, man. Thank you for coming. Al Diaz is here. Thank you so much. Timeless Truths. Steve Carpenter again. Jody, Drone Shots. Who else did I miss? If I missed anybody, I'm very sorry. I'm getting bleary-eyed. So with that, guys, as usual, I'll crank up my exit music. Give you guys all the rest of the day off. Go play with your drones. Turn it over to my trusty sidekick, Spank the monkey, to say goodnight. So, Spank, say goodnight, buddy.